To start off, so my name is Zach. I head up the IT and cloud department here at Learning People. I'm also joined by Jasmine, who is one of our senior consultants. I'm joined by Marisha, who heads up our career services team. And I'm joined up, Don is here as well, who is from Skillsoft, and he is head of tech and dev in the EMA region. Each of us will be talking to you today regarding our certain specialties and obviously sharing our wisdom. The purpose of today really is to talk a little bit more on cloud and IT infrastructure as itself. Over the COVID-19 period, it's been an extremely busy period for ourselves at Learning People. We're having an enormous amount of inquiries into all different areas, particularly our clouds department. The reasons for that, I'm sure Jasmine, I might talk into a little bit later on as well. And this is just to give people a bit more understanding of what kind of opportunities could be there for you, what we do for our students, and to help people change their careers. So here at the Learning People, as I said, I head up the IT department. We provide online learning, essentially. We've been doing so for a little over 11 years. All of our qualifications are globally recognized. Essentially, what we look to do is work out what would be the best qualifications for our students. Talk about their backgrounds, talk about their skills that they may have, and what are they actually interested in within their careers, which is what Jasmine will talk about shortly. Work out what would be the best career pathways for them to move into, establish the best certificates. Now, we support all of our students throughout their learning, and then with the great support that Marisha and the career services do, we move our students into the industry and find them employment with those certificates as well. Everyone will obviously talk about how we do that throughout the call. Don is going to start us off today and talk a little bit about Skillsoft, where he's over, which is obviously one of our partners and a great organization to be a part of. So Don, I'll hand over to you, mate. If you could introduce yourself, that'd be great.
Thanks very much, Zach. Okay, let me just share my screen. I'll show you. I've just got a couple of slides to share with you guys today. Make sure I've got the right thing. Can you see that okay? You see that okay, Zach?
Yes, mate. That's all up.
Okay. Yeah, thanks very much for the intro. So yeah, as Zach says, I'm Don Mowbray. I work at Skillsoft, and I head up what we call the technology and developer area and portfolio that we have, and I'll talk a little bit about that later on. But first of all, I wanted to sort of share sort of my perspective on the industry, where some of the trends are, and also a little bit about my background, because you might hopefully find that of some interest, given that I don't come from a traditional technology background, although for the last nearly 24 years, I've been working in tech. So a little bit about me, first of all. So actually my background was not technical at all. So I did arts A-levels. I went into to study a modern arts degree at university. So I studied history with study in German. So it was primarily the history degree. I spent a year of my study in Hanover, at the University of Hanover, studying history there. And then I stayed at university for another 4 years and did a PhD in medieval history. So I was headed very much down the academic route. Thought I was going to become a historian, so spending all those time in old libraries looking at dusty manuscripts. I'll tell you, it's not as romantic as it sounds. But it turned out it wasn't really the thing that I wanted to do with my career, and I was very fortunate actually. And it shows you, gives you a sense of how old I am. When I first started doing my PhD in 1994, that was the time when the internet was just beginning to emerge, and we can't really imagine a time without the internet now, of course, but in those days it was very rudimentary. And in fact, the academic area, they were quite far ahead, much further ahead than business was actually at the time, in how to use those types of technology. And I started to teach myself a few things. One of the things that came out around about the same time, probably about the time about 1995, Sun Microsystems started talking about a language called Java. which sounded very exciting. It was something you could use cross-platform, so you didn't have to worry about whether it was running on a Microsoft system or any other types of system. You'd be able to run applications using this common language. And that was something that excited me at the time. So I had an interest in technical stuff, but I wasn't technical and didn't have a technical background. Why am I saying this? Because lots of companies, and particularly technology companies, will recruit and hire people from all sorts of backgrounds. Okay, and that's as true today as it was 20 plus years ago when I joined Oracle Corporation, big American software company, very well known for databases at the time. And I joined them at the end of, in November 1998. So it was a long time ago. And in those days, there was a lot of, most of the work that Oracle was doing was not internet based, because the internet was quite young. And a lot of the technology were what we call client server technology. So installing stuff on computers, running it on a server or on a client, so like a laptop or whatever, or a desktop computer. And that was really how the applications were made. So they trained me really from scratch, but I had some stuff that I'd already learned. And the reason I'm saying this is because this is relevant, I think, still today. There's some things you can put you in a good position to be picked up by a company and then further trained into other roles. And I ended up becoming a technical consultant for a few years. And then you can see there some of the roles I did thereafter throughout my couple of decades there. And I was able to move around the company. And if you go to a big company like that, there's obviously lots of opportunity in working with lots of different types of technology. As you can see there, obviously Java, I worked in some areas of the middleware product that Oracle had at that time. And then latterly, and this is the relevant for today, I spent the last 3 years of my career there working in cloud. And Oracle produced wrote a new and developed a new cloud infrastructure. So the stuff that all applications run on, all the compute, the storage, the networking technology that exists in the cloud that you can run stuff on. And I set up the product management team for that at Oracle and ran that. So I was part of the engineering team. Now, another thing I was chatting to Zach about this yesterday, I ended up having, in leadership roles, I hired people, and I hired people from all sorts of backgrounds, by the way. So right from people who had patents in software engineering, of course, in certain cases, because they were very, very technical, we needed them. But we also hired people, with fashion degrees, or people who had come into technology through a different route, because it's all about aptitude and then having some of these core skills that the company can then say, this person's the right person, I can hire them, I can skill them up further in my company. So I joined Skillsoft in January 2020. So it's a different role for me. I've always been passionate about learning and I'm a lifelong learner, and that's really given me the opportunity to fulfill that part of my sort of career in being somebody who now has a technology background but is passionate about technology and passionate about learning. So I just wanted to say a couple of little things about, sorry if this slide's a little bit messy, just kind of pulled together sort of just this morning. And we look at a lot of different trends in Skillsoft, and I've spent my career working in lots of different IT trends that have come up. And nowadays, the same things come up again and again with the customers that I speak to. And you can see them there really highlighted in red. The key trends in technology right now are around things like to do with data, and that includes machine learning and AI. We're not going to talk about that really today. Cybersecurity, again, is a massive, massive area. So, that's a route that you want to look at and go down. I know we're talking about cloud today, but there's a lot of security in the cloud market, in cloud platforms is a very, very important area, because customers, of course, are moving their application workloads from an area that they control in-house to a public cloud platform. That could be AWS, it could be Azure, it could be Google Cloud, it could be Oracle even. And that company is now running that infrastructure for them. So they don't have a data center anymore. That's what the cloud does. It's a virtual data center. Cybersecurity is massive for that, okay? So as I say, one of the trends is lots of companies, and they've been doing this over the last 4 or 5 years, are starting to move those applications, those workloads into a public cloud platform, into a virtual data center. Why? Because it's much cheaper. You're not having to pay for buildings. You're not having to pay for lighting and heating or cooling in that case, in most cases, for those, and then lots and lots of hardware. You're effectively renting the hardware and renting the space by using a cloud provider's infrastructure. And that trend is going to continue, and we need lots and lots of people who understand it very, very technically, but also at the other end who can articulate the value of cloud. Why should I move my workloads to cloud? And again, that's the sort of career you could think about. How do I articulate the business value of cloud? Very, very important to be able to do. And it's something that lots of companies need people to be able to go out and talk to customers about. The last thing there on that slide, digital and data, digital academies, data academies, cloud academies. These are some of the trends we see customers trying to build capabilities around, doing better decision making with data. So these are some of the trends you should be on the lookout for when you're thinking about some of the areas you might want to explore in your learning as you go through. This is my final slide, and I'm not going to talk to it in a huge amount of detail, but this is really our value proposition at Skillsoft in the technology and developer space. We call it tech and dev for short. Okay, we really have 3 main aspects to how and why we put this platform together to help people get skilled up. The first is, as you can see there, to provide future ready skills. I've talked about some of the trends. These are the things that are, we have a platform that keeps ahead of those trends and tries to make people keep skilled up in the face of very rapid technology change. So there are lots of customers today who have big tech teams, big development teams, and they have to keep those people upskilled. So you have an opportunity, by the way, to get those latest skills, those cutting edge skills, which will give you value in the market where you're looking for a job. Because in some cases, these companies are going to be hiring people to do those jobs as well as upskilling their existing people. Now we've got the content in those key areas that can help you do that. We provide guided pathways for you to get there. And I know Zach is very passionate about certifications. One of the things we cover more than 100 certifications on our platform, including from the major cloud providers, AWS, Azure, and we're bringing on the Google Cloud Platform content. There's some of it there now and more to come in the next quarter. And those certification paths, they're guided, will help you gain those initial certifications which prove to an employer, this guy's got the chops, they've got the fundamentals, or maybe beginning to get some more advanced skills. They're ready to be taken into that workspace. Okay, so that's a path to mastery. The other thing we have is we have role-based learning. It's probably not as relevant, if you're trying to get the initial skills, but if you want to look at how do I become a cloud engineer? What are some of the things I'm going to need, some of the skills I'm going to need? We have these role-based learning paths. We call them Aspire journeys, and they're there to help you develop those roles. Core aspect to all of this is being able to get hands-on with the technology. Okay, you cannot learn anything to do with technology without being able to play with it, without being able to practice those techniques, the actual skills that you've maybe learned in theory. And so we have a huge array of practice capability on our platform, on Percipio, which is the platform, the learning platform that you will have access to. We have practice labs that support the guided learning paths, the certification paths. We've got sandbox areas where you can practice new programming languages, whether it's Python, if it's Ruby, if it's Kotlin, if it's C#, whatever. We've got 42 separate sandbox environments which allow you to practice those programming languages, some of which, of course, are very relevant to the cloud environment. And of course, we have dedicated cloud challenge labs for the major providers, AWS, Azure, I think we have 350 odd labs now across those two providers, and the next group to come on will be the Google Cloud Platform. We also have, alongside our learning, some other things that will help you round you out as an individual, and that's what we call the road to leadership. It's some leadership skills, some business acumen skills, maybe some prospecting skills or whatever, if you need that sort of within your tech endeavor, about, you know, getting the certifications or becoming, you know, going into a role. But we've also got these opportunity for you to round yourself out with some business skills and some leadership skills maybe as well. Okay, that's all I wanted to share. Zach, I'll hand back over to you. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Don. Thank you, Mick. That's great. And, you know, to simplify as well, what a lot of Don is saying is we've been doing this for a very long time. And we've been providing online learning for 11 years. We've had something like 35,000 students study with us all around the world. Our student success comes from multiple of things, but without the correct learning and education and the right support, it's very difficult for people to make a change. With Skillsoft, they are regulated and they're accredited as one of the best online learning platforms you can have anywhere around the world. The curriculum is the most up-to-date education you can have around the world. With the live labs and the sandbox environments that Don was referring to, you can show employers you haven't just passed multiple choice exams. When people are walking in the door and trying to sit these and try and get these job interviews, it's not just about having a certificate, even though it is key, which I will talk of shortly. It's about demonstrating you've got the right skills. Have you taken the right steps to find this employment? How serious are you of a candidate to try and make this transition? And they will look to where you have studied. So we will always try and look to get, and we have done for the last 11 years, is made sure that our students get not just the right certificates, but the right learning to be able to do the job when they actually find that employment as well. There's no way we could, or our students would have anywhere near the success that they do have without using such an accredited learning platform like Skillsoft, and specifically Percipio is the name of the platform that the majority of our students use. Now, I don't want to talk too much. I don't want to take thunder away from Jasmine. I'm going to hand over to Jasmine, who's one of our senior consultants, for those who have joined us as of late, to talk a little bit more about what she does and why it's so important within the business. So Jazz, I'll hand over to you.
Hello. So yes, my name is Jasmine. I'm one of the career consultants here at Learning People, and I've been here for quite a few years now, and that is because I love that positive impact that we have on people's lives, changing their careers or starting their careers in tech. And I would be, I suppose I'd say, like your first point of call here at the Learning People. So we'd have a little chat, find out more about your career today, why you're looking for a career in tech, what are your goals and aspirations, and then from there we would match you to your best suited career, whether that be IT, project management, coding. And one of our main focuses here is to be consultative and listen to your needs. I cannot highlight the importance of this, and that is because this industry is huge. It can open up so many brilliant opportunities, but that can actually be really daunting, especially for someone who's looking at changing their career. There's a lot of conflicting information online, and the best thing you can do is speak to a specialist, a professional that's going to be able to navigate you through the industry, point you in the right direction in terms of job roles, and especially your learning pathway, the kind of qualifications you need to do, and make sure that you are correctly qualified when moving into this industry. And by doing that, you've already taken that first step in terms of changing your career. About a year ago, I became one of the cloud specialists here, and that's so we could really try and crack down on skills gap and that demand behind cloud computing. 60% of companies now are preferring to hire people with cloud skills and qualifications, and that is due to the growth within cloud computing. Cloud, it's taken center stage within the tech sector, and it grew around about 25% throughout the pandemic, and it's predicted to grow about 35% throughout 2021. So this area is not slowing down. It really has highlighted the demand for this area throughout COVID. And when I'm speaking to students, there's, I'd say, three main reasons why they are looking to switch their career. And I would say first and most popular would be salary. They're not happy with how much they're earning, or they might need to earn more to be able to provide for their family or live the kind of lifestyle that they want to live. Flexibility, I would say, is second. A lot of people now have had that taster of working from home. They want to be able to have a little bit more flexibility moving forward. And thirdly, I would say job security. And an area like cloud, it can offer you all three of those things because it's massively in demand. The salaries are very well paid. The cloud is all about remote access. So you are able to be able to work from home and have that flexibility. And where it has grown so rapidly over the last kind of 5 years, there are a lot of jobs out there, but there's not enough people that are actually correctly qualified to move into those roles. So you're not going into an area where it is saturated and it's not a flooded market. And going back to what Don was saying as well, employers and recruiters, they will hire you no matter what background you come from, as long as you have the right kind of qualifications, you can move into this industry. And that's something that's really important. Remember, when looking at this kind of change. But yeah, that's everything from me. I'll pass you back to Zach.
Thank you, Jazz. Yes, and a key point I think takeaways when we're talking about these cloud positions, there are many different opportunities within cloud. And I don't know how technical everybody is here and what experience you obviously already have or research that you have done. But to try and keep it simple for those who might not have looked into this at all before, long gone are the days where businesses will hire data centers and pay extreme amounts of money to rent out offices to look after their servers and maintain all of their storage, essentially. There's big risks involved. The main benefits for companies to transitioning to what we call the cloud is financially, it's far more affordable to pay a different provider to manage your storage solutions for you. A big reason for it is that you'll only be charged on the actual amount of data most of the time that you're using. It's far more secure. Don has touched on cybersecurity. I don't think a day goes by where you can't find a new cybersecurity attack that has happened overnight if you were to look for it. Everywhere we go, we're constantly hearing about cybersecurity attacks. I constantly have Royal Mail calling me, telling me, something has happened. I'm sure we've all been exposed to some kind of cybersecurity malware, for example. And finally, a big reason for it is that flexibility. COVID-19 has shocked the world, but it's also shown a lot of businesses the opportunity that's there to enable people to work remotely all around the world. And businesses need to have access to their storage very, very quickly, and it enables businesses to then be globally recognized as well. You can work all around the world. So cloud is one of these areas that is just massively on the demand with cybersecurity. I know, for example, Cisco said in 2018, around 45% of companies used the cloud, were on the cloud, you could say. And in 2021, around 90% of companies now globally are using the cloud. So with such a huge surge in demand for businesses to move online and store their data off base, you could say, there's a lot more opportunities now for our students. And as Jasmine and Don have both said, you don't need to have an IT technical background to make this transition. Take the right steps, get the right learning, get the right qualifications, have the right support from Marisha and the great team that she works with, and there can be a huge opportunity there for you. Jasmine and the other consultants are here to find out what might be best for you. Talk to them. What are you interested in? Is it earning potential? Is it job security? Do you want to work flexibility from home? What kind of skills do you have now? And then they can say, well, you know what? You'd be a fantastic cloud engineer. This will give you these kind of opportunities, or maybe cybersecurity would be the way for you. It's the whole purpose of having that consultation. And here at Learning People, we are one of the world leaders at giving that kind of support and education and offering those opportunities to our students. I don't want to take too much time before I hand over to Marisha. I know she actually has a call shortly after this to catch up with one of our students. But just before I hand over to Marisha, to give you something to walk away with, the big giants within the industry really are Amazon Web Services and Microsoft Azure is their product. Amazon currently owns something around 32% of the market share, and they have been the leading vendor for a long time. Microsoft are spending a lot of money building their product and are chasing after Amazon very quickly. I see Amazon every single week. I see their branding. I was watching the Formula One on the weekends. Everything was powered by AWS. The more and more that we move online, the more you're going to see these big brands like Azure and AWS. A key vendor to be certified by prior is CompTIA, if anyone has heard of it. They are the Computing and Technology Industry Association. The big reason to go to CompTIA first is they're what you call vendor neutral. So they will teach you all different vendors' operating systems, for example. And when we speak to career changes about making this transition, you need to make sure that you are as employable as possible. That's why cheap training doesn't work. That's why cheap certificates don't work. You need to take the right steps, as I'm saying. And CompTIA are fantastic at building your foundation level skills. Get globally recognized on a vendor neutral basis. Learn these skills that you know is going to be able to be adaptable in any working environment. And then you would look to specify with one, or obviously you can go down either. I personally recommend AWS as they are best recognized, as what I just said, but CompTIA is something that you certainly need to be aware of. They're a fantastic awarding body. Obviously, all of that curriculum is delivered from Skillsoft, obviously where Don is, and the great work that they do. We were runner-up EMA Partner of the Year this year. We've been CompTIA Partner of the Year for many, many years. We have a fantastic relationship with them as well. And through the right learning that Skillsoft provide, setting the official certificates on the correct pathways, and as I said, the support that Marisha and the team deliver, there is a huge opportunity for anybody who is looking to change their career. It's just up to yourself and the consultants to find out what will be best for you. And without further ado, before I talk too long, I will hand over to Marisha, if she would like to introduce herself and then obviously run you through the fantastic work she does. And that will take up most of this seminar today. So Marisha, over to you.
Thanks, Zach. Hi, my name's Marisha and I work on the career services team at Learning People. And we launched at the end of 2019 to focus solely on supporting students to become job ready and navigate the job market with confidence. So we provide industry specific, impartial advice and support to our students. So we'll take you through a three-phased process that's tailored to your own chosen career path, whether you are a first jobber or whether you're career changing or a professional looking to upskill. And phase one is all about laying down those foundations to become a credible candidate. So how to write your CV using all of the necessary keywords and transferable skills, how to optimize your LinkedIn profile, and how to start researching the tech industry and identifying companies that you actually want to work for. So you'll work with a one-to-one consultant like myself, and we'll help you stand out against the competition. And while there are plenty of job opportunities out there, there is also plenty of competition. So if you are solely relying on making job applications via job boards, for example, your journey is going to take that much longer to secure a job, because the online job board, they probably represent about 30% of available jobs that are out there, and you're often up against 100 plus applicants for each job. So we'll guide you through how to utilize multiple different approaches with job boards, and that will help open up that hidden job market that we all hear about. So this is phase two, and it's all about networking. So we'll give you the tools, we'll give you the confidence to proactively find professionals out in the cloud computing field or tech field to build relationships with a focus on your mutual interest. And if you can prove your value to those contacts, they will start introducing you to their contacts. They'll offer you advice and even act as references to job opportunities that aren't being advertised. And we'll help you to own your own credibility and make good connections with people. So networking is a bit like a superpower, as it sort of lets you vet companies at the same time as they are vetting you, and it gives you an awareness of who the good people are to work with, what teams are doing interesting things, and you set yourself up for a long-term career success, basically. So along with the networking, we'll be encouraging you to put what you can into practice as much as possible as well. And once you start having conversations with industry professionals, that's when you'll progress to phase three. And that focuses on interviews and working with recruiters. So with our own recruitment experience, we know what's needed from you to make your profile stand out above the competition. And no matter how you've been affected over the past year, whether you've been furloughed, made redundant, or simply seeking a career change, we are here to help you fast track your journey to employment. Thank you.
Thank you, Marisha. Thank you. And Marisha obviously went through that quite quickly. That process obviously spans over a number of months or throughout your learning, it may be. Particularly for me, the networking piece, I think, is huge. I mean, phase one, starting with your CV, starting with your LinkedIn, looking at that professional branding, as Marisha refers to it. Don't just have a normal profile. You need to represent yourself and have an eye-catching profile. But the majority of our students are career changers. People come to us from all different backgrounds. They have all different skills, and trying to break into a new market, having someone that can show you the path, that can talk to you about who the big organizations are, how to network appropriately and speak to these underlying and industry professionals is something that you can't put a price on at the end of the day. You need to network, and you need to be talking to these employers throughout your studying about what it is that you're interested in doing. At the end of the day, this isn't just, with how recognized we are and the learning that we have, the opportunities are there, but it's not just about finding you a job. What job do you want? What is important to you about this next change? You're making a change for a reason. What is that reason? And then find those big employers. Some people say, well, I want to work for a big organization like Google. If they're an aspiring industry professional, I want that kind of opportunity. Other people, a lot of our students, sometimes they can be women. They might have come off maternity leave and they say, well, I want flexibility to be with my children. Fantastic. Let's find you somewhere that you can work from home. Every one of our students are different, and Marisha and the team are fantastic at finding what's important to you to then give you those opportunities that are there. And with that networking piece, again, it all comes back to the learning. Because our students are studying from such a high accredited platform like Skillsoft, that learning is used all around the world. Google have used a lot of that learning. Apple have used a lot of that learning. When you're sitting in an interview, what steps have you taken? Well, I've studied from one of the world's best recognized learning platforms around the world. I've used live labs. I've had tutoring support. You've come in, you've sat an interview well because Marisha has helped you prepare for the interview, and you've built that professional branding. That's how candidates are going to separate themselves from the others and make themselves an ideal candidate in such a growing industry like cloud, or whether it be cybersecurity or whatever would be best for you. And that, in a nutshell, does bring us towards the end of this seminar. What I would like to do from here, so this webinar will be recorded and will be emailed out to you all directly. If anyone has a pen or a notepad down or anything, feel free to write down my email address and you can contact me directly. Also, feel free to contact myself on LinkedIn as well if you have a LinkedIn account. If you don't, that would be my first step after today, make a LinkedIn account. So my name is Zachary Lowndes, which is Z-A-C-H-A-R-Y. Full stop. Lowndes is L-O-W-N-D-S. So Lima, Oscar, Whiskey, November, Delta, Sierra @learningpeople.co.uk is my email address. So feel free to contact me directly. Let me know what you're looking to do, and I can put you in contact with one of the consultants from there. Everybody that's here today, thank you very much for coming. It's been great to see you all and have you all aboard. Don, Marisha, Jasmine, thank you all again. It's been fantastic, and I look forward to seeing you all and doing it all again soon.
Thanks, Zach. Cheers, guys.
Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.